Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'll be recapping Stargirl Season 1, Episode 1, titled Pilot, which was originally released on the 18th of May 2020, and I'm recording this episode just over 5 years later on the 21st of August 2025. But before I get on with my recap, here is the Stargirl Season 1 trailer.
Have a super great day.
I know this has been difficult. The move and a new stepfather, but we're gonna make a good life.
What is this thing?
It's called the Cosmic Staff. The staff's not supposed to work for anyone except Starman.
Starman.
I was Starman's sidekick. The Justice Society of America died saving the world. Someone must carry the torch.
This is our destiny. Yes.
That's cool.
Who are you?
I'm Stargirl.
Stargirl, new series May 12th, free next day on the CW app.
That was the trailer for Stargirl Season 1, because right now I am recapping Stargirl Season 1, Episode 1, titled Pilot. We start off with the Golden Age of Heroes being mentioned. This episode starts 10 years in the past. Pat attempts to communicate with Starman. Starman warns Pat. Starman mentions the JSA. Pat sees an explosion. Pat discovers Wildcat's body. The JSA are currently fighting the ISA. Pat finds Dr. Midnight. Dr. Midnight warns Pat. Pat finds Hourman and Starman. Starman and Brainwave fight. Icicle kills Starman. Sylvester updates Pat. No, it's not Starman. It must be Hourman then. Or is it? I don't know. I've written Starman. We'll go with that. Sylvester updates Pat. Brainwave asks Grundy to follow Sylvester and Pat. Maybe it was Hourman then. Sylvester and Pat crash. Pat helps Sylvester. Sylvester refuses to go to hospital. Oh no, it must be Starman then, but he doesn't kill him. I must have just thought that. Sylvester asks Pat to continue to the ASA. Sylvester insults Pat. Sylvester believes Pat was a good friend, so Sylvester dies. We then have the Stargirl title sequence. Barbara asks Mary's mum to babysit younger Courtney. Barbara informs younger Courtney of this. Younger Courtney mentions her dad. Barbara reaffirms her love for younger Courtney. The episode now takes place in the present. Courtney is packing away her room. Courtney's friend mentions Courtney moving house. Courtney says goodbye to her friend. Courtney blames Pat for her moving house. Pat corrects Mike correctly. Why have I put corrects twice? I put Pat corrects Mike correctly. We'll just say Pat corrects Mike. Maybe it's continuously and it's an autocorrect thing maybe. Mike mentions Google Earth and Blue Valley. Pat asks Mike to be more positive about the move. Mike mentions Barbara whilst insulting Blue Valley. Pat mentions him and Barbara being married. Courtney doesn't seem to like Pat. Barbara asks Courtney to be mad at her, not Pat. Pat, Barbara, Courtney and Mike are on their way to Blue Valley. Pat, Barbara, Courtney and Mike arrive in Blue Valley. Pat compliments someone. Mike has no idea who the people Pat mentions are. Courtney and Mike discover their new house. Pat secures something. Pat convinces Barbara, Courtney and Mike to get something to eat. Pat introduces Mike to being friendly. Pat reminds Mike to call him Dad. Mike mentions Courtney calling Pat Pat. Pat and Barbara remind Courtney and Mike how they met. Pat, Barbara, Courtney and Mike return home. Pat looks at some files on the Wizard, Brainwave and Icicle. Pat looks at a map. Courtney stops herself from unpacking. Courtney looks at the stars. Courtney texts with someone. Pat attempts to relate to Courtney. Pat mentions letters and his dad. Courtney asks Pat to be quiet. Pat apologises to Courtney. Pat wishes Courtney a good day. Courtney arrives at a new school. Courtney learns that her new school doesn't have a gymnastics team anymore. The teacher explains why this is the case whilst mentioning the American dream. Courtney gets her photo taken. The teacher suggests Courtney joining the cheerleading team. Pat explores his new garage. Crusher introduces himself to Pat. Crusher mentions his gym. Pat mentions his new garage. Crusher gives Pat a flyer. Crusher mentions weight and muscles. Crusher compliments Pat's car. Barbara starts her new job at the American Dream. Someone fills in Barbara, not for Barbara. This person mentions Blue Valley. Barbara meets several people. Barbara learns she has an office. Courtney mentions Cindy. Cindy introduces herself to Courtney. Cindy reveals she's the captain of the cheerleading team. Courtney apologises to Cindy. A teacher helps Courtney find a seat. Courtney and Beth introduce themselves to each other. Beth reveals this is the losers table. Rick doesn't agree with this. Rick leaves. Henry insults Yolanda. Courtney defends Yolanda. Courtney pushes Henry. Principal Bowen takes Courtney somewhere. Rick and Courtney are in detention. Courtney is late for the bus. Courtney spots a family. Mike updates Pat on his first day at school. Pat expresses his pride in Mike. Pat mentions Mike's teachers. Mike insults Blue Valley. Mike mentions Johnny. Pat allows Mike to see one of his friends as long as he is back by 9 PM. Mike mentions today being Friday. Pat stands by his previous comment. Courtney snaps at Pat. Pat defends Courtney to Barbara. Barbara reassures Pat. Mike reveals he is microwaving marshmallows. Mike feeds Buddy. Courtney finds old photos of Pat as well as a photo of the JSA and an article about Pat and Starman. Courtney discovers a photo of Starman and Pat together as well as Starman's costume and the Cosmic Staff. The Cosmic Staff lights up when Courtney touches it. Courtney can't believe what she is witnessing. The Cosmic Staff drags Courtney. Courtney jumps onto the Cosmic Staff. Courtney loves doing this. Courtney believes the Cosmic Staff is alive. Pat notices that the Cosmic Staff has vanished. Courtney attempts to navigate the Cosmic Staff. Courtney talks to the Cosmic Staff. Courtney spots Henry and his friends. Someone mentions Travis. Courtney flattens some tires with assistance from the Cosmic Staff. Courtney and the Cosmic Staff attack multiple people including Henry. Courtney and the Cosmic Staff cause a car to explode. Courtney tells off the Cosmic Staff. Henry mentions his dad. Courtney returns home. Pat questions Courtney. Courtney updates Pat. Courtney blames the Cosmic Staff. Pat introduces Courtney to the Cosmic Staff. Pat believes the Cosmic Staff should only work for Starman. Pat and Courtney discuss the JSA. Pat informs Courtney that the JSA was killed 10 years ago on Christmas Eve. Courtney recognises this date. Courtney mentions Barbara. Pat admits that he hasn't told Barbara about the JSA. Courtney is confused why the Cosmic Staff works for her. Courtney believes that Starman is her father. Courtney mentions fate and destiny as well as Starman. Pat informs Courtney why he believes Starman isn't Courtney's father. Courtney asks Barbara about her father. Barbara informs Courtney the truth about her father. Barbara compliments Pat. Barbara says goodnight to Courtney. Henry's father is Brainwave. Henry updates Brainwave. Brainwave asks Henry to go to his room. Brainwave unlocks a door with his mind. Brainwave reunites with his costume. Courtney asks Pat about his time as Stripesy. Courtney insults the name Stripesy. Pat reveals how he met Sylvester. Pat mentions Starman and the JSA. Pat believes he was Starman's sidekick. Courtney believes Pat was Starman's assistant. Courtney mentions Barbara. Courtney promises to keep Pat's secret. Pat mentions Mike. Brainwave updates Icicle. Brainwave seems to ignore Icicle's instructions. The Cosmic Staff wakes up Courtney. Courtney hides the Cosmic Staff from Barbara. Courtney apologises to Barbara. Courtney plans on giving Pat a second chance. The Cosmic Staff drags Courtney out of her window. The Cosmic Staff causes Courtney to fall over. The Cosmic Staff tries to show Courtney something. Courtney and the Cosmic Staff practice. Courtney gets attacked. The Cosmic Staff saves Courtney. Courtney calls out for help. Brainwave attacks Courtney. Brainwave believes Courtney feels lonely and isolated. Brainwave mentions Courtney's father. The Cosmic Staff helps Courtney. Courtney and the Cosmic Staff cause an explosion, and Courtney meets Pat's robot. And that is my recap of Stargirl Season 1, Episode 1, titled Pilot. Let me know what you thought of the Stargirl pilot in the comments below. If you watched it, my recap. If you didn't, you could be your thoughts on both of those in the comments below as well. Anything else you want to channel, such any previews or recaps, put those in the comments below as well. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And just a reminder, now 2 episodes of the podcast released every single day, with the first episode released at 11 AM GMT and the second episode released at 3 PM GMT. Also, there are now multiple formats you can now watch or listen to the podcast in. As not only is the YouTube version, which if you're watching it, that's how you're watching it, which Matt spends a lot of time, so please keep watching them. But if you want an alternative or an audio-only version of the podcast episodes, then please head over to the podcast's X page or Twitter page, and if you just search for X and with the Everything Podcast, you should be able to find it. And if you find one of the episodes, because it automatically releases around definitely the same day that the episode comes out on YouTube, then you can listen to it that way. But without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.